There's a quiet paradox in modern life that almost nobody talks about. On paper, more people than ever are doing well. Salaries are higher than they were a generation ago. Career paths are clearer, job titles sound impressive, and yet people are exhausted. Not tired in the I didn't sleep enough last night way, tired in a deeper, duller, background hum kind of way. The kind of tired where weekends feel too short, vacations feel too fast, and Sundays are quietly haunted by Monday. If you ask people how they're doing, they'll often say, fine, busy, can't complain. But if you ask a different question, if you make decent money, why does it feel like nothing ever really changes? The answers get uncomfortable because the truth is most people don't actually know what they earn. They know their salary, they know their hourly rate, but they do not know the price of their job. And that misunderstanding quietly drains their time, money, and future. From the moment we leave school, we are trained to anchor our entire sense of value to a single number. Annual salary. It's the first question people ask after, what do you do? How much does that pay? Not because they're shallow, magnifiques, but because we've been conditioned to believe that salary equals success, stability, and security. If someone says they make $75,000 a year, we instinctively categorize them as doing okay. If they say $100,000, we upgrade them to doing well. If they say $150,000 or more, we assume they've figured something out. But salary is a headline number, and headline numbers are famous for hiding the fine print. In business, revenue alone tells you almost nothing. A company can bring in millions and still be collapsing. Another can bring in far less and quietly build long-term wealth. The difference is never revenue, it's margin. And here's the mistake almost everyone makes. When it comes to our own labor, we obsess over revenues and ignore margin entirely. Let's strip away the emotion for a moment. You are not just an employee, you are a one-person business. Your product is your time, energy, attention, and skill. Your customer is your employer. Your revenue is your paycheck. And just like any business, you have operating costs. The only difference is that nobody ever taught you to calculate them. So you assume they're small or unavoidable or just part of life. They're not. They're the reason so many people feel trapped despite earning good money. The expenses no one puts on the pay stub. Let's talk about the real costs of working. Not in theory, but in practice. 1. The commute tax. The most obvious one, guess public transit, car payments, insurance, maintenance, parking. But the real cost isn't just money, it's time spent alert but unfulfilled. Time that can't be used for rest, creativity, or connection. A 30-minute commute each way doesn't sound like much until you realize it's 250 hours a year. That's over 6 full work weeks, donated for free. 2. The appearance tax. Most jobs come with an unspoken dress code. Clothes you wouldn't wear otherwise. Shoes chosen for optics, not comfort. Haircuts timed for professionalism, not preference. Individually, these costs feel minor. Collectively, they are a steady drain, and they only exist because someone else is watching. 3. The convenience tax. This one sneaks up on people. Coffee because mornings are rushed. Lunch because evenings are exhausted. Delivery because cooking feels impossible. None of these purchases feel like job expenses. But remove the job, or even reduce its intensity, and many of them disappear. You are not bad with money. You are compensating for fatigue. 4. The substitution tax. This is where things get darker. When a job takes time, it replaces things that would have been free. Walking the dog, dog walker. Home-cooked meals, takeout. Errands, services, rest, spending. You're not spending because you're indulgent. You're spending because you're stretched. There's one category almost nobody budgets for, but everyone pays. The cost of recovery. The drinks that take the edge off the week. The impulse purchases that provide a short-lived dopamine hit. The vacations booked not out of excitement, but desperation. This isn't about weakness, it's about physics. Pressure requires release. When a job consumes too much of your emotional bandwidth, money becomes the release valve. And the cruel irony is this: you often need the job to pay for the things you buy to tolerate the job. That's not coincidence, that's a feedback loop. Now let's talk about time. Because even people who subtract expenses usually stop here. They say, okay, but I still make $10 per hour. No, you don't. Because work does not begin when you clock in. It begins when your schedule bends around the job. Morning routines shaped by deadlines. Commutes that dictate wake-up times. Evenings dulled by mental exhaustion. Then there's the invisible labor, thinking about work, recovering from work, worrying about work. This time never appears on a timesheet, but it absolutely belongs to the job. When you count it honestly, most full-time workers are giving the majority of their waking life to employment, and they are only paid for a fraction of it. Here's where the illusion collapses. Real hourly wage is not salary 40 hours. It is take-home pay, all job-related expenses, total hours the job claims. When people finally run this number, Reactions are almost universal. Shock, anger, then a strange sense of clarity. Because suddenly a lot of things make sense. Why raises don't feel like relief. Why promotions don't bring peace. Why earning more hasn't fixed anything. In some cases, people discover that they are effectively earning less than they did years ago. Not because they failed, but because costs rose faster than awareness. Here's the uncomfortable part. This system works best when you're too tired to question it. When you're exhausted, you don't audit. You consume, you cope. You don't ask, is this worth my life energy? You ask, what's the fastest way to feel okay again? That's not personal failure, that's structural design. Once you understand your real hourly wage, something profound happens. Prices change. A $200 purchase stops being abstract. It becomes a translation problem. How many hours of my life is this? Not hours at work, hours because of work. Traffic, meetings, emails, stress. Suddenly, spending becomes intentional, not because you're disciplined, but because you're aware. This is why wealthy people obsess over time, not money. Money can be replaced, time cannot. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that more money always means progress. Promotions often come with longer hours, higher expectations, more visibility, less flexibility. They raise revenue, while destroying margin. You may process more money through your life, but keep less of it and lose more of yourself. That's not success. That's scaling a bad business model. Every dollar spent maintaining an exhausting lifestyle has an opportunity cost, not just financially, but temporally. Money spent today isn't just gone, it's future options erased. Small expenses feel harmless because they're small in isolation, but over decades, they represent years of freedom deferred. The tragedy isn't coffee or takeout, the tragedy is not realizing what they're replacing. This is not a call to abandon society and live in the woods. It's a call to optimize for margin. That might mean fewer hours, not more pay, less prestige, more flexibility, lower expenses, higher peace. The goal isn't wealth, it's leverage, the ability to say no, the ability to breathe. Here's the exercise. Do it when you're calm. Write down your true take-home pay. Every cost that exists because of your job. Every hour the job realistically consumes, do the math. Then don't panic. This number isn't a verdict, it's a map. Once you see your real hourly wage. 3 things. 1. Spending slows down naturally. 2. Trade-offs become visible. 3. Decisions regain weight. You stop drifting, you start choosing. We are entering an era where time is the scarcest resource. Some people buy it, most people sell it cheaply, without ever checking the price. Don't sell your life at a discount. Audit your work, protect your margin. And remember, a life that looks successful but feels empty is not a success, it's a warning.